guys good? Good to go? Great. Okay, looking forward to heading down to Tallahassee, playing one of the better venues around the country against a highly talented, well-coached Florida State football team. Has a great tailback, as we all know about, and a veteran quarterback. So great challenge for our kids, and we're looking forward to getting on that airplane and going after Florida State. With that, questions? Mark.
I wanted to ask you about that quote that you tweeted out Winston Churchill. I thought it was a great quote. Talk more about that, tough times you're going through and how you guys are handling it.
Well, for me, it was actually from my wife. She sends me quotes almost daily, and that was Missy's quote of the day. And I thought it was a great one and very applicable to where we are. How you have to trust everybody in this room, our team, and to fight forward and look at it from a positive point of view as rather than a negative point of view, and also understand just how close we are. Just how close we are. I was talking to Axe about that earlier in an interview, and we forced 15 fumbles this year, which is really good, and we've only come up with 6 of them. And you think about the instances where we could have got that ball back and we didn't, whether it was Davon Ellison hitting Boyd this past week where the ball flew backwards, and that could have been a game-changing moment, and the ball falls the other direction. Whether it's, Ron Thompson's had a couple forced fumbles that we didn't pounce on in the red zone that would have given our offense an opportunity to, at least come away with 3 points, bare minimum. So for me, we always talk to the kids about it's a game of inches. It's a game of inches, and some of those inches are going to go your way. We have to fight forward and say, look, we're this close. We're this close. This close. Last game, field goal opportunity for Pitt. They hit the field goal, goes up, hits the upright. We're all looking to see if the ball went backwards or forwards. Turns out being a three-point play for them. You go back to Virginia, and you look at a play where we stood around waiting for the officials to come out and make a decision, and it was a 7-point decision. Where the ball went forward 15, 20 yards. Ends up being a fumble. Everybody sees them pick it up and run in. We're like, well, that's definitely an incomplete pass. That's a 7-point play right there. So I look across the board. We've had a lot of those opportunities, but our approach has to be steady, and it has to be consistent to the kids. And that is fight your tails off. The difference between being 3 and 4, when you look at those game plays of inches that could change things. The difference between being 3 and 4 or 5 and 2 or even 6 and 1 are a matter of inches. And so we focus forward. We say, rather than dropping your hands down and saying, well, should we, let them score like I know Stephen had asked the other day, or do we say, let's get the 16th fumble and make it go our way and scoop and score and win the game? Because that's the way we approach everything, that on defense we can win games. And there's been flashes of greatness defensively where we've scored a lot of points, and not only forced turnovers, but taking them back for touchdowns. And I would rather work continuously on that rather than the alternative. So, those mindsets and those realities of just how close we are with a young team are the things that we really talk about. And we say, let's keep fighting forward to see if we can win that next battle where we can get the ball back for our offense or have a game-changing moment.
Yeah.
Scott, you just talked about a lot of the things you can't control, but you've always preached controlling the controllables.
Yep.
And despite the 3 and 4 record, how do you view the offense, defense, and special teams as far as what they can control and where they're at this point?
Well, I think offensively, I've seen a lot of improvement across the board. Seen a young quarterback continue to grow as a player, and I see a lot of young, productive guys that are going to be very good football players. And we're not waiting for tomorrow. We're trying to get that done this week against Florida State. So I've seen good progress offensively. In the kicking game, good progress has been made, especially with our coverage teams. Take away the LSU return. I've been very pleased with our coverage units and our consistency to get the ball where we need it to be. From a kicking point of view, Riley Dixon is having a very good season, as you know. Cole Murphy's had a couple blunders where he's missed some field goal opportunities, but it was good to see him be 2 for 2 last week. Brisley Esteem, I think, is number 2 in the country, maybe 1, 2, or 3 in the country with his returns, and that's with having one called back. that was probably, I can't remember what it was, a 50, 60-yard return when we were in a punt safe situation where we had our defense on the field, and we covered up Brisley just enough for him to make a lot of plays or a lot of moves, and that one got brought back with a block that was very questionable, block in the back, and you sit there and say there's another 3 or 4 inches right there. It could have been a difference. And then defensively, it's third down that we have to get better at, and to try to explain where we are defensively, the way I look at it is we have to continue to be better at anticipating what's next in that play. So what I'm talking about there is if you have tendencies where a defense looks at an offensive formation and says it's a 3-by-1 formation and their tendency is to go weak with the ball, and you have the call, you need to be able to anticipate the ball going weak and then believe what you see. And that's defensive football. The great safeties, and I've said this in the past, the great safeties in football are where they're not supposed to be when the ball arrives. And so many examples of that with Shamarko Thomas when he was here, Philip Thomas when he was here. One of my favorites, Louis Delmas, played for me. I can remember he made an interception in the strong flat and took it back for a touchdown. And he was the deep thirds player. And you say, well, what's he doing in the strong flat? And as long as their answer is, Coach, I saw it, and they arrive where the ball is, that's one hell of a football play. And when you watch it every week in the NFL, same thing with great linebackers anticipating a blitz. A seasoned veteran looks at the clock and it says 5, 4, 3, and he rolls into his blitz and times it up, knowing that the risk he's taken is a good risk because there's no time to extend the cadence. And all of a sudden it turns into a forced fumble or a big hit. Doug Hogue got good at that his last year here. So it's the anticipation side of the defense that I want to see us continue to improve upon.
Nico and then Steven.
Coach.
Nico.
Florida State, how great they are for the prestige of that program. Just how great of an opportunity is this for you guys to go down there and hopefully get this one?
It's a great opportunity. For our kids, it's a great opportunity to go do what they wanted to do since they were little, and that's playing a special place, a great venue, excellent football environment. The tailgating will be at a high level. We'll go to the stadium the night before tomorrow and walk around and get a feel for the grounds, get a feel for the locker room, and in doing so, we'll see all the tailgating that was set up, and it's just neat. It's really exciting for coaches and players alike to be in that venue and have a chance to go play the game. And then what they have to do is they need to minimize the outside forces and focus in on the inside forces of what is the play, what did coach teach me to do, how am I supposed to anticipate the next play, whether it's offense or defense, and how can I forge forward with getting a little bit better than I was on the last play. And that's what college football is all about, and it'll be a great environment for us to go down and play.
Steven and Mark.
I got a two-parter for you on A.J. Long. Obviously transferring, and he received his release, and he wants to keep playing football. First, is that a decision that you support, given his concussion history? And second, understanding coaching circles and how programs work, do you think he'll find a program that will let him play after this?
Yeah, those are, both of those questions are very difficult to answer. He's not medically, he's not cleared to play football by our doctors, who are some of the best in the country, in my opinion. Dr. James Tucker, he's been on study groups with regards to concussion, and he's out in front of it as best you can be. So for me, it'd be concerning in the best interest of the student athlete to be thinking that way without some doctors saying, hey, you're healthy. With that being said, it's a decision for he and his family to ponder. The best interest of the student athlete's health is the biggest concern that I would have there. Just a week ago he had a hard time getting through the day and couldn't go to class. So those are things that are a little bit outside of my element at this point in time. wish him the best with whatever decisions he chooses to make.
Maybe more toward the program taking him. Would that surprise you?
I mean, it's up to that program. You know, those are all things that are outside of my element and hard to answer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So leave it at that.
Mark, how much does it help the fact that you guys faced Golson last year and maybe what you learned from that?
I think to some degree it does, but it is a different system and a different scheme. You know, Coach Kelly, spread quick, get it out, get it to the perimeter. A lot of the completions were over here and over there, outside, east and west. Florida State gets the ball down the field more, sets the pocket up differently. Play pass off a very strong running game is different. So the quarterback's the same, but the schemes are different. You know, so the one thing that isn't different is that he's extremely athletic. I mean, I've never seen a guy complete the ball with his other hand as many times as he has. And I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I think he had one against us last year. He's had two in the last game. You know, where he'll be running, and you'll be like, wait a minute, he just threw that with his left hand 10 yards down the field, and it was a spiral. I mean, it's not one of those where it's just a flick. I mean, it's like he's running, and then boom, and I'm like, you know, if I practiced that for 20 years, I wouldn't be very good at it. So he is an exceptional athlete. So when the play breaks down, and then the creativity of an athlete's skill set takes over, that scares the hell out of you, to be honest with you. But I think we need to do a good job of trying to change things up, trying to make things look one way and the other. Difficult to do that if you don't shut them down on 1st and 10. So 1st and 10, P and 10 defense will be extremely important to try to squelch some of the opportunities that they have to give Golson chances. So it'll all be predicated on being in good situations. So we're trying to get to 2nd and long, 3rd and long. We can get one more here.
Time for two more, Paul.
Two more, I guess.
Steve's been having a few big breakout games recently, and so was big at the end of last year.
Steve Ishmael?
Yeah.
Okay.
What makes him so good? Just as a player?
I think the thing that makes Steve so good is, first and foremost, he loves football and works at it as hard as anyone I've been around. The other thing is he has great body control, excellent body control when he's in the air. And I think when he leaves the ground, it's like a freeze frame, and he just does a great job of timing the deep ball up. If you look at a lot of his throws and catches that he's made, throws to catch he's made, so many of them are when a guy's in position to make a play, and he can time it up better than the guy that's covering him, or a safety coming across. You know, the one touchdown earlier in the year, we had a cover 2 concept that we were going against, and there's a hole shot there. We call it a hole shot behind the corner in front of the safety, and Eric threw a great pass. But Stevie caught that ball, and at the same time he was catching the football, he saw safety screaming to try to knock his head off. And he caught it, and at the same time dropped his hips and got back underneath and took it for 6. So I think it's his ability to make plays when everything in front of him is a bit of a mess, which says a lot about his ability to see multiple things at once.
Last question for Coach. Mark?
Mark?
Anything that you did against Fournette can help you against Dalvin Cook, or they like him?
Different schemes, more two-back scheme, lead, power, counter, with regards to LSU's scheme as compared to Florida State. Florida State scheme's a little bit different. You see more plays where they're brushing it forward and bringing it back against the grain by design. So I think our backside pride, our backside presence with those guys away from the initial movement is going to be key. And then tackling in space will be extremely important. This guy makes you miss in space, so we have to get multiple hats to the football to be consistent on defense.
Thank you, Coach.
Okay. See ya.
Thanks, Scott.